So right here we have the MPC sample. I want to make a beat using this sampler, and I have a sample that I want to record right now. The only problem that I have with this sample is it's a little too muddy. I don't know, like the low mid frequencies with the bass, it just resonates not in a pleasant way. The problem that you would run into with the MPC sample versus the other samplers like the MPC One or Live is that we don't have any plugins. On the other samplers, you get an EQ. So if you have any minor situations like that, you could just lower certain frequencies. On the MPC sample, we don't really have plugins, but we do have the knob effects you can kind of tap into. They have filters. I'm not sure if there's an EQ with the knob effects, but let's bring in this sample. Let's see how far we can get cleaning up the sample using the MPC sample. Don't forget, if you guys want to pick one up, hit up my links to Zounds and pick one up today. Let's get right into the video. All right, so right here I have an empty project, and right now the mode that I'm currently on is just the sample view. There's no samples on any of these pads right here. So what I want to do first is bring in, I don't know if I should start with a drum break or maybe we can start chopping up the sample right away. It's 50-50. Sometimes I start with drums, or sometimes I'll start with my sample. In this case, let's start off with a drum break. Let's see if we can find a cool break that we can bring into pad 1. I'm going to go to my sample select. I have my external SD card connected, and on this external SD card, I'm going to go to my folder right here where I have a bunch of sample packs from the Drum Broker. If you guys have not heard of the Drum Broker, go check them out. So many sample packs you can pick up. So the one that I'm going to go through right now is Cooking Soul and Tammuz. So I'm going to go into this one right here. I know he has a few one-shots if you guys want to go just for a kick, snare, hi-hat, percussion. And there's also drum breaks. For this sample right here, I think I want to go with a drum break and see if I can build something from there. So I'm going to jump into drum breaks. This is cool right here. I'm going to load that up into pad 1. It's at 80 beats per minute. So I'm going to go to my sequence view and let's bring this down to 80 beats per minute so my sequence can match the drum breaks. I'm going to go ahead and record that onto a 2-bar sequence. All right, so I have this sample right here. If you're going to listen, like the low mid frequencies is resonating a bit too much. I don't like the frequencies that's just peaking. I'm going to see if we can clean that up with some of the effects right here. So we got it right here. I'm going to just press sample, and let's jump into this first sample right here. All right, so I want to start off just by selecting 1 or 2 bar loop. I'm not sure what I'm going to work with. Let's go ahead and hear it. Right here, I want to just start with these first 2 bars, and let's select the endpoint. Make sure I'm right before the down hits of the next sample, and this is my start point. I'm going to turn on loop. I'm going to make sure I select that, and it gives me a perfect 2-bar loop. All right, that's pretty good. I'm going to trim that, and after I'm done trimming it, I'm going to go to chop, and I know there's 2 bars in total of 16 beats in these 2 bars. So I'm going to go to chop type, and I'm going to go to regions. I want 16 slices or 16 regions. Actually, I did my math wrong. It's supposed to be 8 regions or 8 slices. Let's go ahead and hear this. Let me turn on loop and just tying up these chops right here. All right, we got a little something right here. All right, not too bad, but as you can hear right here, the downbeat, that's resonating a little too much. I don't like the sound of that. What I want to do, I want to record my sequence first. Once I have like my 2-bar sequence, then we can jump into the knob effects while it's playing back so I can listen to what I'm doing with these effects, and we'll see if we can clean it up just a bit. All right, not too bad. It sounds good, but we can clean up this sample. I might have to just use a high pass filter and just filter out everything that's in the lower end, see if we can have something better, and maybe we'll bring in our own bass on top of this so they don't crash too much. I'm gonna go to Shift, FX, Select. Once I'm right here, I can make this affect all of my pads, or I can select one pad and add that effect only to that one pad. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. That sample that I brought in was on pad 13. So I selected pad 13, and any of these filters or effects right here are going to be applied to that selected pad. If you want to say, you know what, I changed my mind, I want that effect to affect all of my pads, then you go to all pads. But in this case, I only want it to affect pad 13. As I'm playing back the sample, I'm going to try different effects right here. A high pass, low pass, or a band pass. No, there's no EQ. I'm going to start with a high pass filter. And I'm going to hit play, and we'll mess with the frequency and resonance. That sounds a lot better with it on, because now that low mid frequency is not sticking out as much. Now, here's the thing with the MPC sample that I really have been loving about this sampler is the fact that I don't have a lot of options. Coming from the MPC Live or MPC X, you have many options there. There's a bunch of plugins, plug-in instruments. There's a lot going on with that type of workflow, which is awesome. I just took out the MPC X the other day, and it was fun. Like, I miss using all the plugins and all that stuff, but my approach when it comes down to building a track on the MPC sample is just have fun. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for something that resonates well with me. It's quick little movements like this that allow me to just move forward. Let's bring in a bass line. Let's see if we have a different bass samples that we can add on top of this, because since I filtered out all the low frequencies of this sample, it just sounds very thin. So I think if I bring in a bass on top of this, it might thicken up the track. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go to my sample view, and I'm going to go to pad 16, sample select, and let's look for some bass notes right here. In the same folder from the same sample pack, I'm going to jump in. There's some one-shots. There's some bass one-shots. I'm not sure which one's going to work. I'm going to hit play and just listen to the bass sample that's closest to the key of my sample. So let's go ahead and audition some of these. I like this bass sample right here. I'm gonna just bring that in and drop that within the first bar, and then we can tune that bass to match it a little better to the sample. Let me record it first, and then we'll start tuning this. Let's go to tune, and let's perfect this a bit better. All right, so we have this bass, and I tuned it down. I think I'm at -10 semitones, and I fine-tuned it just a bit so it could match at least as close as I could to that sample. This is what we have right here. All right, we got something simple right here. It's just 2 bars right now. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my sequence view. I'm going to copy this sequence, this 2-bar sequence that we have. This is our original 2-bar sequence. I don't want to mess with this. I'm going to duplicate that and put that onto an empty sequence, and we can play around with probably some different chops from the record and see if we can explore or experiment a bit better. If worst case happens, that it just sounds horrible, I still have the original sequence right here that I'm going to save. So if I hold down Shift, copy, I'm going to bring that to the second pad. And now we have this sequence A2. And I'm going to jump into the sample view within that sequence. And I'm going to go to pad 14. Let's go to sample and let's get a different section of the beat. All right. We got something right here. Let's trim that. And on this one, I'm going to just manually chop this. I just want to go ahead and chop this up manually. Horrible chops, but I'm going to fix these up right here. Now, the same thing with this second sample. The frequency is a little too muddy. So I'm going to jump into Effect, Select, and I'm going to select pad 14 because that second piece of the song, I sampled it into pad 14. So now both pad 13 and pad 14, two different pieces of the record, are going to be filtered out using this high pass filter. All right, I like how that sounds. I'm going to record that on top. I know it's kind of crashing a little bit, but we're going to fix the tail length of this. We can bring it out a bit more. I'm going to go to the filters and let's give it a cutoff. Let's get rid of that drum break on sequence 1, and let's also get rid of that bass on sequence 1 so we can hear how it goes from sequence 1 to sequence 2, having the bass and the drums. All right. So we found something right there. Look, the whole process with the MPC sample is so much quicker. I feel like I go from point A to B to C a lot faster without having so many distractions or many options like we would on other MPCs. And that's why honestly I feel like this right here has been my favorite sampler. Now, if you're new to the MPC sample or if you purchased one, you're still waiting for it, I have an entire course where I go over the workflow of the MPC sample. Within that course, I take you from start to finish. I know these YouTube videos are a little shorter, they're not as long. I try to chop this up, so it just saves you some time, but you still get some value out of it. But within the course, we go very slow. So if you need extra help and you've watched tons of videos and you still feel a little lost, sign up to the course. I'll walk you through step by step. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching this portion of the video. I hope you guys had a good time with me. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll catch y'all on our next one. Peace.